Today we're talking about why the INFJ gets constantly misunderstood. You have been through life, right? I mean, you're an INFJ, you know how it is, and you go through life, and no matter what your intentions are, people think you're either weird, you're esoteric, you are thinking way too deep. I mean, how often have you heard this saying of people saying, you just don't have to think so much about it. Why do you think about that? Why is that even an issue? It's something I have experienced many times in my life. And I know so many of you have. And it's this constant thing of, I'm speaking my normal language, I'm speaking my normal thoughts. This is completely normal to me. And for some reason, absolutely everybody around me seems to be put off by it. It seems too intense. They just don't get it. It strikes a chord with them in not a positive way. So, what am I going to do to change that? I want to be understood. This is a human need. So, do I just have to accept this and struggle my entire life? Or do I just have to hope that these people will get it at some point? What are we going to do? The answer is actually very straightforward. And the moment I started applying this in my life, everything has changed. I don't have a day in my life where I feel I'm misunderstood. And it's not that the people around me have changed so much, and it's not even that they understand me better than before. But something about my lifestyle has changed. Something about additional people in my life has changed, which makes me feel like I don't have this need anymore of being understood. I have my outlets. I have those things that make me feel complete. And therefore, there is not this nagging feeling of nobody understands me. I feel all alone, which, those two things are very much connected. And on top of that, I actually feel like I'm thriving. I feel like I'm connecting. I feel like I can be way more authentically me. That's what we're going to talk about, how you can apply this in your life. Before we get started, remember, if you haven't done this so far, to download the poster on the 5 pillars to an INFJ epic life. And if you want to take it to the next level and say, now is my time, then join the waiting list for the INFJ epic life bootcamp. All the information you find in the links in the description. We as INFJs are a rare breed. That is something we have to accept. There's certain things we don't have to accept, like the way we feel about certain things. Like, you don't have to accept that you will suffer all your life. You can definitely change that. And it's not just about accepting things. It's also about getting those needs met. But there's certain things that are just facts. They're externally observable facts. You know how I always call it, those things are not really changeable. And one of those things is you're probably not going to have a lot of INFJs around you in real life, right? I mean, outside of the internet. What's also true is that for most people, your intensity when it comes to having deep psychological, talks, your need for a really deep connection with people, your need to be as authentically you as you can possibly be, that for a lot of people, that is too much. And that is something that we have to accept. Again, the feeling part, how you feel about this we can change. But the first thing has to first sink in. And that comes with a lot of grief. It comes with a lot of, acceptance. It comes with a lot of anger attached to it. And we have to face it, right? I mean, we go through life, and so often INFJs are, prone to, look for a person who they can, be themselves around. That's why we always fantasize about this like perfect relationship where we have this deep emotional connection. But so often the reason for this is because we are keeping ourselves hidden for all of our life. And then there's this one person that for some reason in our imagination could be the person that now you can open up to, the person that you could share your world with. And that's where the problem comes in. That's when things get too intense, because the need to be understood is so big, because your entire life is based on the fact that you keep yourself hidden, that you're not expressing yourself in a way that is really meaningful to you and authentic. And it doesn't come from a place of, INFJs are fake. This comes from a place of deep-seated fear of abandonment, not being accepted. And we have all grown up in a society where we were different, where our ways of thinking contradicted a lot of the things that were happening around us. And we as empaths, and we as people who can absorb other people's emotions, who are aware of their judgment, who are people who want harmony, we will learn in an early childhood already to adapt to that, right? And that means that we keep who we want to be, who we actually are, how we want to express ourselves hidden to a really big extent. And we have to really accept that. We have to get to a place where we accept that this happened and we can't change the past, but we can't change it in the future. Because think about it like this, even if this seems like too strange of a concept or you can't really apply it to yourself, just do this mental experiment with me. Imagine there's a version of you who would be able to live out their truth all the time. Not just with this one person you're hoping for, but with, the way your life is. Your life completely changes. So absolutely everybody that you get in contact with sees this authentic version of you all the time. It's like you've been carrying those 2 big buckets of water with you all the time, and you're just hoping that there's this one person that you can finally let them go with, and then you can just relax, right? This is our hope. Because all our life, we're carrying this burden with us, this burden of, I cannot be myself. But if we allow ourselves to just say, I'm going to be myself around absolutely everybody else, I'm not going to, hide it. I'm not going to try to keep it, at bay so I can observe people. So, there's no judgment. Why make them understand who I am? Guess what? You will lay out those buckets of water everywhere. So you will already put so much of that burden that you're carrying with yourself just outside of your life. You decide that you have the right to take up space, right? And I know it seems like, okay, easier said than done. What are the actions behind it? We're going to get to that. But just first off, let's look at the concept. You just allow yourself to be yourself, lay it all out, let everybody see that. And then you're not going to have this aim of having these deep, deep, deep connections with this one person, because you already feel like, you are being accepted because you accept yourself. Everybody around you has to adapt to the person that you are. And that accepting might be, that person is weird, I'm going to go away. Happened to me many times, but I wasn't looking for their validation anymore. It came from a place of, yes, I'm psychologically deep. Yes, I like to think about things in a different way. That's who I am. I just accept that. I'm not going to hide it anymore. And I'm going to actually put it up front. I have certain ideas, I have certain understandings, and some friends might find this weird. We don't have to talk about these things, but I'm not going to hide it from them anymore. I'm not going to hide that that's my stand on certain things. We're also afraid that people might think that we have just bad souls, that we're bad people, that we're just hard on the inside, right? And to actually accept that, to say, yeah, I don't have any emotions when it comes to this. I can be stone cold hard when it comes to this topic. That's who I am. And if you think I'm a bad person, if you think I'm not love worthy, if you think I'm weird, let that be, because that's who I am. That's the intention that I use going forward. Because if you do this, there's no room for misunderstanding, because you're not even looking at what people have to say. You do you, and the people who don't like it, they move out of their way. But other people, for the first time, have an opportunity to see who you are. People who would have never been aware of your thoughts and that you are actually thinking this way. And you're not aware of those people because they're not in your life. If you, on a subconscious level, believe that you're too much, that you're, going to be misunderstood the way you actually live your life, you know what you're going to do? You're going to surround yourself with people who have those same beliefs. That's how we function. And if we want to change that, then we have to actually change our own behavior. And one great way that will definitely help you in this entire process is to share your truth somehow outside of the people who you have in your daily life. That's why I'm so grateful that we have the internet, that we can connect with people all over the world, and that we can connect with like-minded people. You don't need the entire world to understand you. You need some people. So look at forums, be in, situations like we are here now. Look in the comments section. There are people who believe similar things to you. There are people who you can connect with. The more you find an outlet, and the more people you see who can be not just role models, but people that you feel like, oh, they're just like me. In so many ways, you automatically feel more understood. You don't have to look out at, oh, okay, those are friends of my friends and they don't understand me, therefore I feel misunderstood. So our steps are twofold. On the one hand, we say from now on, I rather be abandoned, I rather be disliked for who I am than to be liked for who I'm not. This is a choice you have to make if you want to step out of this, feeling misunderstood, hoping that this one person will, change your life, will understand you, will allow you to be yourself. If we do this is like, a perfect opportunity for codependency, because we're so needy at that moment because there's nobody else who understands you, right? So we're automatically going to do things that are not in our best interest. So imagine this. So you have to, first off, allow yourself to be seen. And from those perspectives that others are going to judge you for, but that are just authentically you. And you'll see other types don't have such a problem with this. Look at ENTPs, for example. How often do I see an ENTP, or even ESTP, but more often with ENTP, who just have opinions where you already know, oh, people are going to be upset about it, people are going to feel attacked, or this is not like the best thing when it comes to finding compromise. They just say what they think, and like how people are going to react very often is an afterthought. They're not worried about this. They know that they have controversial thoughts, but that's who they are, and it doesn't hurt them so much. That makes them way healthier in a lot of ways when it comes to expressing who they are. We're the ones who struggle with, oh, how are people going to react if I share my honest opinion and share my real thoughts? Or if you look at ISTJs, an ISTJ doesn't worry about how other people feel like. This typical thing you will hear an ISTJ say, for example, is, how do people just go out and meet for coffee? Don't they have a life? Because for an ISTJ, it's probably much better to just, do their own thing, work on their hobbies. They don't even question things that are completely accepted by society as long as it's totally normal to them. Right? And let's look at those two types just as an example and take a little bit out of that. Let's make our normal the new normal. Because the thing is this, you will always see life through your perspective. You're always the biggest and most important person in your life. You are the director of your movie. You're the leading role of your life. So your opinion about yourself has to matter the most. Period. That doesn't mean that you're going to force your beliefs onto others. They should put their own self-worth, their own worldview first, and you should put your own worldview first as well. And then you two are going to find a compromise. But you should not, to begin with, say, yeah, mine is not as important because, there's nobody around me who's just like me and people are not going to accept that, and, all the stories we tell ourselves, and therefore we're sort of hiding and hoping that this one person will now get it, and then be disappointed again because they don't understand it again. If you understand it, if you demand that this is your truth, everything changes. Imagine you're a painter and you're an amazing painter, but in your mind, being a painter is not as valuable as being an accountant. But you suck at accounting, right? You still work in an accounting firm because you have taught yourself all your life that this is the only thing worth something, right? Being a painter doesn't really matter. Right? And of course you're going to be around people who are not painters, people who think painting sucks because they are actually people who value accounting most. So our goal at that moment is to get to a place where you feel like accounting sucks. Like, what a waste of my time to be an accountant. I'm a painter. Being a painter is the best thing in the world. Being a painter is what my life is all about, and I'm going to make that the focus point, and I'm going to be successful with it. I'm going to touch so many people's hearts with my art, and I'm going to share it, and it's going to be amazing. That's the place we want to get to. And that example applies to your life in every way because it's about being an artist. You're the artist of your life. You're the creator of your life. So start valuing your thoughts most, and you do this by taking action, by letting people see all of that. And that's why I'm saying it's twofold. So letting people see all of that and then also sharing it with people who have the possibility of acknowledging it. The painter has to share their art in the art world. They can't just share it with the accountants. You have to share your truth with, people who are open to this. Use the internet for this, like share your story in one way or another, connect with people. It doesn't have to be that you start a YouTube channel. It can be, but it's just about voicing yourself in any kind of way. Remember, if you want some more help in pushing yourself forward, then download the 5 pillars to an INFJ Epic Life poster and sign up for the waiting list for the INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp. All the information you find below. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video why the true INFJ is so intimidating to others.